Hello, my name is Alan Wright from Go Interactive, and today we're going to look at Smart Notebook software and some of the basic elements to it. What we're going to look at in this module is going to take us through the following. It's going to take us through the Notebook software interface, the Notebook software tabs, and navigating through and using the gallery. Notebook software is the software created by Smart that's used in classrooms daily in order to prepare lessons. I'm now going to close this file temporarily, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at the various different ways of launching Notebook software. One of the obvious ways of launching Notebook software is through the Smart Notebook software icon that should appear on your desktop as part of the software installation process. In order to launch the software from this method, all we need to do is give a double press on the icon, and that will open Notebook software for us. If for some reason, when I close down this file, if for some reason we don't have the software icon appear on our desktop, the other alternative we have is to move across and press our Start button from the desktop. Select by pressing on All Programs. Again, selecting by pressing firmly on the board Smart Technologies, Notebook Software, and finally Notebook Software 10. This again is another method of launching Notebook software. The third way of launching Notebook software is via the Smart Floating Tools, which will appear on the left-hand side of your desktop. Again, we press firmly on the arrow to expand the floating tools, and down towards the bottom you will notice that we now have the notebook icon appear here. Again, by pressing firmly on the icon, this will also launch Notebook software for us. Now we're going to go back to the original file that we had open, and we're going to have a look in more detail at the Notebook software interface. The Notebook software interface is best separated in three different sections. You'll notice up across the top here we have what are referred to as the tools. Okay? The tools by default will appear on the top of your notebook file. If there is an issue with accessing these tools from the top of your page, all you need to do is, by using the double-sided arrow at the end of your toolbar, pressing firmly on the double-sided arrow will move the tools down to the bottom of your page, giving greater access to either yourself as a teacher or some of your pupils. Again, for today's session, I'm going to select by pressing again the double-sided arrow in order to bring the tools back up to the top of the page. Second section that we have in our notebook interface is the work area. And this is the main body of the page where we would place all of our text, our handwriting, and some of the objects that we would use during lesson creations. The third section are referred to as the tabs, and this is where we're going to spend most time looking at during this module. If we briefly go through them, first of all, the first of the tabs is what's known as the page sorter, and this gives a chronicle, if you like, of all the pages that you have in your lesson. The second tab, if we press, will open up an area that is full of gallery resources. At present it's close on 7,000 gallery resources that again come in different forms. We have some images, we have some flash files, we have some video content, and we also have some images with sound attachments. The third tab, again, that's opened by selecting the little paperclip symbol that we have here. This gives you an area that you can store attachments basically that you want to use during the course of your lesson, but you don't necessarily want to have to close down notebook software in order to access them. So it's, if you like, a quick link or a quick hyperlink to some of the content. And again, we will look at that in more detail in a second. And then finally, we have our Properties tab, which again is launched by simply pressing on the little Properties tab symbol. It'll be the fourth tab down, and this will open up the Properties tab section. That's used to add a little bit of colour to some of the shapes that you may have created on the main working area of the board. So now we're going to skip back up again and go into more detail into some of the property tabs, or some of the tabs themselves. Okay, we look first of all again at the page sorter. Okay, when we open up the page sorter, as I've done with this presentation here, we're faced with one single page. You'll notice from the little thumbnail here that there's an outer blue frame appears on that thumbnail. That shows me that that's the relevant page that I'm showing. If I were to press firmly on the thumbnail, you'll notice a little arrow appear with a drop-down menu. By selecting the drop-down menu, I have some various different methods and various different ways that I can use the pages in my gallery tab. The first one I'm going to show you by selecting is the Insert Blank Page. So that's a very quick way of adding a new blank page to my lesson. Another way of adding a blank page to your lesson, if we look back up here at the tools, you'll notice over on the left hand side we have a white page with a green cross that embedded in that has a white, green circle rather, with a white cross, which by pressing that will now add a third page. To distinguish these two pages, I'm going to press my pen tool at the top, again by selecting using my finger. I'm now going to select the green pen, again by pressing firmly on the board. And now I have the ability to customize that particular page. Going back to my page sorter tab and opening it up, now I can see the various pages that I have. As part of this software, I have selected here a section known as Auto Hide. What Auto Hide does, it gives the ability, each time I touch the main working area of the board, for those tabs to close in. So that again,